There we go. Hey guys. I'm not sure
Hello.
we're going.
Okay, I'll pull it up on my phone so we
Yep, I
see the
got it. Oh
comments.
no, that's day 4, day 3.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. We're excited to be with you on day 4 of the Turning Assets into Income Challenge. Like yesterday, we would love to hear from you if you have a takeaway you want to share with us. Your comments allow us to do better and provide better content for you. So it's actually helping you to take that extra step and type something down. Because we can change what we talk about based on what you guys are typing in the comments. Today, we want to talk about making it happen. So take one example and just go through the couple of different steps that we would go through to develop something that is valuable to people, whether that's a product, a course, go through the steps to develop a service we offer to people. We'll just walk through the different steps and let's see how it goes. Um, I'm trying to I was gonna wait to see if anyone is posting any comments, but let's just jump in and then we
Yeah,
can check the
go back.
comments afterwards. Okay, just as a summary or a reminder, on the first day we talked about discovering what you know, and we identify the things we know, things we have done. We call those skills or assets. And then the goal was to identify something we have, because and it could be a relationship too. It doesn't even have to be something you
Right.
know or you've done. Sometimes you can just connect two people or two businesses together. You can get a good percentage of it. I have a friend who all he does is talk to people who want to sell their businesses, and then when people say yes and they're interested, he passes the information to a business, and they take over, and he gets checks for 10, 15, $17,000 every few months. I mean, he doesn't get a check every few months, but it takes a few months for a business to sell. So it takes a few months for him to get paid. But now that he has a deal flow and he's been doing this for a couple of years, he gets a lot of checks, big checks. So that's a person who just knows how to ask good questions. And all he does Zoom calls with businesses. And then he asks them, do you want to sell? And when people say yes, he has a conversation and then he follows up. That's all he does. So it doesn't have to be something you know. It doesn't have to be something you own. Sometimes, just putting people together or connecting
Yep.
people can be very, very profitable. So we talked about your skills or assets. Then day 2, we talked about the things that are often holding us back, because all of us have things that hold us back. And we started talking about mindset and all that good stuff, because businesses don't get stuck. Business owners get stuck. And the business you have is a reflection of you. If you're not happy with the business, that means there's something that's holding you back from taking the right type of action. And you shouldn't use it to or I wouldn't use it to shame myself or to feel guilty about it. I need to use it to discover what's holding me back, so that I remove that obstacle or go a different direction, go the path that is better. And I heard this quote today from Warren Buffett. Hopefully, I remember what it is, but you make more not by trying to go faster, just place yourself in a faster stream or something like that. I'm going to look it up. Um, Often we think, oh, I have to work harder and I have to do more. But what if you, assuming you're in a river, what if you just place yourself on a river that's flowing fast, on a stream that's flowing fast? All of a sudden, you gain speed and momentum without you doing a lot more work. And that's the idea behind this challenge. If you start to identify what assets you have, then all you have to do is kind of put yourself in the right stream. You'll make
Yep.
more. So that day 3, we started talking about how to do that, how to take what you know, what assets you have, and turn it into value. And today we're going to talk more about the practical stuff, how to make it happen. Okay. Jenny, did you want to add anything to that?
Hold on. Sorry, I had double sound coming in. No, that sounds like an amazing quote too. I would love to hear the whole quote. But I think one thing that has been interesting to me in seeing your guys' comments is, and Delia, I'm really glad that you said this today, that there's no shame in having, or guilt in having something that holds you back. And a lot of people, the big thing seemed to be, I mean, there was the time and procrastination or time management, that type of thing. But I think most people related to the imposter syndrome. And it's so good to recognize those things. We all have our stuff. That's the thing. We all have our stuff. And so I think if you can find a community, and hopefully this can be a community for you where you can work through that stuff and say, hey, I'm realizing this is holding me back. What can I do about it? You're in a great place here in this group to be able to brainstorm through how to have that not be an issue anymore for you. Everybody's in a different place. Everybody struggles with different things. So take advantage of that community. That's why relationships are so important. That's just one reason why they're so important. But looking forward to today, talking about, like you said, making it happen and taking those assets and turning them into income. So I'll throw it back at you and let you.
Okay. Yes. So I looked up the quote. It's not how fast or hard you row your boat. It's how fast the stream is going. It's not how fast or hard you row your boat. It's how fast the stream is going. So just something to consider, because it's, we always put things on us, but if we just place ourselves in the right group at the right time, alongside, the right project, that can completely change our future. And I know there's so many stories of people I know who, with just one relationship, completely changed their future. So it's not how fast or hard you row your boat, it's how fast the stream is going. And that's why it's important to do these things, the mindset stuff and asking questions and researching stuff, because then you can place yourself in the right stream. You can give yourself an advantage rather than disadvantage yourself. Okay, in terms of making it happen. So the first step is you come up with a list of things or if you want to call them superpowers, the things you're good at. Let's say it's selling. Very simple, right? Then you come up with the asset, the skill, and then the next step is to look at how you can apply that. And actually, I'm just going to use my example. I've been building a POD brand using sublimation printing. And this week, as I was thinking about it, I realized I could totally write a book about it. And I'm going to use ChatGPT to build the outline, to write most of it. And then I'm going to put my own information in it, and I'm going to finalize it. Then when I'm done with the book, I'm going to reach out to someone who can sponsor the book. If I don't get anyone to sponsor the book in the first 30 days, that's fine. I just want to have something to publish, put it on KDP. So I already did some of the research on Amazon. I just put sublimation. I looked at Kindle just to see what people are doing. And that's how I decided to actually take this idea and go with it. So I'm going to click present, share screen, and let me see. Okay. So let's go.
For me to share it.
Okay. So that's the quote. So I told you guys what I like to do is I like to go to Amazon and just look up any type of information regarding my topic. Sublimation book might not be the right keyword, because sometimes people put sublimation mugs, sublimation puzzle, because they need the blank item to print on. So this is like a journal blank. That's what comes up. So the other way you can do it to make it better, get the better results, I could do Kindle Store sublimation, and just look at the ebooks on this topic. The Road to Sublimation Success. It has 131 reviews, available in Kindle Unlimited, $9.95 to buy. So the fact that it has that many reviews is pretty good, in my opinion. This one is written by the same guys. Then What I Did, Introduction to Sublimation, a Beginner's Guide. And then this is another one. So you can see there are some books on the topic, not a lot, which is good. I like that. This one has some reviews. This one has some reviews. Some of them have reviews. The next step would be to read the reviews. We're not going to do that right now, but I'll just go to the review section. And I like to read the review and see what people are saying, because whenever I create it, I want to do better, or at least focus on the things that were not addressed by my competitors. I thought there would have been more tips and tricks and a range of pricing types of information. The history of the process was great. So a lot of the books, when I looked at it yesterday, a lot of the books talked about the history of sublimation. But if I want to attract people who want to build a sublimation business, then they probably don't care as much about the history. They love to share and are excited about learning the business. An all-inclusive sublimation book. Okay, comprehensive sublimation Bible. And I know this book actually talks about the process of sublimation. The way sublimation works, you have a blank, you print whatever you want to imprint on the blank, you print on a piece of paper, and then you put those two in the heat press, and then the design gets transferred to the blank substrate. So I know this book talks about that process, but again, I'm not as interested in talking too much about the process. I'm interested in teaching people how to make money with sublimation, because that would attract the right type of person for my business style. So I would read through the reviews and see what other people have done, and I would try to do a better job. Then I would go to ChatGPT. Let me see. Can you see my screen,
Yes.
Jenny? ChatGPT?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if it's going to change. Okay,
Yeah.
so then I would do a prompt, right? Write table of content for a book on sublimation for people who want to build a sublimation business. Make it specific to tips and tricks on how to build the business, not focused on the history of sublimation. And then you can actually use ChatGPT to ask all kinds of questions. The value of the prompt determines the quality of response you get. And then you can take each one of these things and tell ChatGPT to write, tell you, like actually write the content for you. Because I have experience in sublimation, I can evaluate the content that I get. If you're trying to use ChatGPT on a topic that you don't know anything about, you might actually publish wrong information. So I would do a little bit of research just to make sure what gets published is correct. But you can see here, introduction, understanding sublimation printing. I won't read all of these, but you see introduction, laying the groundwork, initial investment, setting up your workspace, sourcing materials, mastering the printing technique, all that, marketing and branding, sales channels. So this is pretty good, actually. I think I'm going to use most of these. I'll probably change a few of the words. So sales channels, I'll talk here about selling on Amazon, selling on Etsy, selling your own website, selling offline. So I could divide it online sales channels, offline sales channels, because I've already sold stuff offline. A business owner asked me about getting some hats with a logo. I had a local business sell some mugs in their store. So I've tested both ideas, and there are actually a lot more ways to do it. Now I have a table of contents, and I would go through the process and take each one of these. So let's say understanding the sublimation printing. I'm going to say write, explain, detail what you would write for this section of the book. Use a simple to understand style. Fifth grade level. So now ChatGPT is actually writing my section of the book. And I would take it and maybe change a few words, and actually you can use a lot of it. And you can see how it's being written. Again, I understand sublimation because I've been doing it for a year. So I'm not an expert at it by any stretch of imagination, but I understand enough. And these are pretty good things, actually. Sublimation is really cool because colors pop. It's long lasting, and then you can create pretty unique things. So I would choose 3 of these. And the ink does become part of the item. That's why people like sublimation. So I have my first section. So I would continue, just ask ChatGPT to write stuff for all of this, and then I would add my own thing. In about half a day, I would have my book. So this is part of the process. And then how to launch KDP, that's something Jenny can tell you about. And she has all kinds of resources for you. But I have templates that I know I can use for books. All I would do is put all of this information in a Word document using the template I already have, upload to KDP, and get a cover. So now I have a book. Why would this be important? Because there are quite a few groups on sublimation. This one, I think, has 50,000 people, or 55K here in the top left. You see 55,000 members, and you can see the members. Now, I actually just sent Sandy Camp a friend request because I made the decision to write a book. I will actually write the book, and I will keep you guys updated on it. And guess what I saw when I went to files? Sublimation book. So then let me go back and see if I can pull up the message I sent her. Message. Okay, I said, Sandy, I just had an idea for a possible collaboration. Would you be interested to hear about it? I mean, I didn't even... I wrote a longer message and then decided to delete it because most people don't care to read long messages. I started by explaining what I wanted to do. She has actually a lot of information about the process of sublimation that would be ideal for that part of the book. And my offer to her, if she says, yes, I'm interested, or let me know about it, would be, well, I'm writing a book on sublimation, and I saw you already have some content. What if we put your content with what I have? I'll do all the work. I will edit. I will upload online, and then we publish it together on Amazon, and we share in the profits. You don't have to do anything. Let me use your content. Like, I don't want her to do anything, because that's why people don't say no to your offers often, is because we get them to do more work, or it's not clear. So I'll tell her, I'm in the process of publishing a book on Amazon related to sublimation, and I saw you already have some content. Would you like me to incorporate that content and co-author this with you? And you can before we publish it, you can review it. And if you don't like it, I'll take your name off of it. So a really simple offer. Now, the problem is that often when we have good ideas, we just like vomit all this information on people. and they don't really. That's not
It
how we talk
overwhelms
to
them.
people, right?
Yeah.
When you talk to a friend at a party, you say something, you ask a question, they respond, they ask you a question. So when we use that approach in talking to people and getting people to say yes to whatever offer we have, that always has better results. So now you saw myself, you saw how I walked myself through the process. Um, I used ChatGPT to write a book. I found a Facebook group um, tied to the topic I want. So obviously, a lot of people are interested in sublimation. I showed you the message I sent to the admin, and the reason I sent her a message was because there was this message in the group saying, "Hey, if you're searching for T-shirts for sublimation, we recommend that you use the suppliers listed in the features
Mm,
section." And then I realized I never looked at any of the stuff they have here.
mm,
That's how I found the files. That's how I found this stuff. Recommended list is another useful uh,
yep.
file that it's useful for people, right? So then I saw her name and I realized, oh, I can totally just send her a message. She could say no, right? She doesn't have to say yes. And all of a sudden, if she says yes, then I have a person who is an admin of 55,000
Mhm,
member group. When I launch this book, if she says yes, I can guarantee we'll get at least 500 to 1,000
mhm,
people to buy it for a couple bucks. So in one day, we can probably make a couple $1,000 because she comes in with the audience. If you can partner with someone who has an audience, that's always a great idea. So if you have a topic you want to work on, find someone who has the audience, do all the work. Like you have to
right.
do the work, and then just tell them, hey, why don't we partner together? This is my idea. But again, when you start the conversation, start with just, hey, I thought about an idea to collaborate. You could say, hey, I'm into sublimation. That's probably what I should have done. Hey, I'm into sublimation.
Mm,
Or I see that both of us are into sublimation.
mhm,
I have an idea for a possible collaboration. You want to hear about it? Very simple.
yeah.
Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I think it's cool, is answerthepublic.com. I shared this with
Mhm.
someone in the group. And you can use this for free. You have 3
Certain number.
searches
Yeah.
per day if you create an account. And then you have a list of questions people are asking about sublimation. So let's take how. Sublimation, how to get started, how to pronounce, how to videos, how sublimation ink, how sublimation printer, how sublimation is whatever, how sublimation is done. Okay, you see how all of these are questions people are asking, and I would have to create an account or sign into an account to see the volume.
Mhm,
The point is, we don't have to wonder if people
mhm,
are interested in a topic. There are tools like this one that are very, very affordable that tell us what people are thinking. And a lot of times, some of these tools you can actually get for free. You can get a trial for 2 weeks, so you don't even have to pay. So there's no reason to not do something because we don't know what people think about our topic. We have so many tools. Uber Suggest is another one. I have a lifetime
mm,
account, but I think it's super affordable. Uber Suggest tool. If you go to Uber Suggest, you can see what people are typing again, and you can put domain names in there, and the tool is going to give you a lot of information about their top pages on the site, which tells you what, again, people are interested in. So there are tons of tools that are available to help us discover what like angle to go after as we're trying to come up with a content-based business. So I know I'm focusing a lot on content-based businesses, but this is a project I plan on doing in the next few weeks, and I just wanted to share with you how this gets done. Now, once you have the ebook created, let's say it's an ebook, and that's even easier to do than KDP. Once you have something created, the way to get people interested in your stuff, you have different ways, but I like to share stories of what I've learned and do really, I mean, provide really good content. If you're in the sublimation group, for instance, I have not done this because I don't have time yet. But my goal is to actually write a story of one thing I've learned as I've been selling sublimation stuff, a really good lesson I've learned, and just post it in here, and then do that a few times without expecting anything in return. Just putting really good content, things I've learned. It could be as simple as a lot of people share how they tried to sublimate on this type of product and they had issues, and they share that, right? Not a lot of people share how they made sales with sublimation. So I've noticed in this group that that's a huge issue. So that's one way to do it. And in the past, not in this group, in a different group, I shared some of my stories over time. And then there were a couple of people who reached out to me and said, hey, could you teach me how to do what you just shared? And they were willing to pay me. So that's one way to get to make money. And I know it takes time. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next 3 days or 10 days, or I don't know. It's going to take a little bit of time. But again, even the story, if you have a story about something, you can always take it, write it in your own words, then start a new chat on ChatGPT, and then say, write the story in easier language, make it more interesting, more fun, blah, blah, blah. And ChatGPT is going to do it for you. You just have to have the main ideas. Okay. So you have no reason not to do it. Oh, I'm not a great writer. You don't have to be. Just get the main points with like the main lesson you've learned, put it in ChatGPT, tell the tool, give me rewrite it for me, make it sound more interesting, make it more fun, use some analogies and illustrations, and the tool is going to do it. Now, when you ask, when you input prompts on ChatGPT, don't put too much stuff in a prompt. So do it like one step at a time.
Yeah.
So that's the suggestion I have. But share stories in groups with people who are interested in this stuff. As you share stuff, then the owners of those groups get to know you, and they're more willing to partner with you on projects. And when they partner with you, you make money because whoever has the audience can help you generate a significant amount of income if you build a relationship. The other way you can, we can probably stop sharing, Jenny.
Oh, can I just comment real quick on using groups like this? I love sharing your story. Another thing you can do is, especially with a large group, if there's a lot of engagement. One group I'm in, there's like 500,000 people, and I had to turn off following it because it was taking over my whole feed because there was 100 posts a day. So every once in a while, I haven't done it in a while, but every once in a while, I'll go into that group and see what people are posting about. But there's so much. So you can go and use the search feature and search keywords that are related to things that you want to have a conversation with people about. So for me, it might be KDP. If it's an entrepreneur group or small business, whatever it is, this particular group I was talking about is a entrepreneur group. So I'll go in to see if anybody's interested in self-publish or publishing books, self-publishing, learning that, and how to use that to grow their business. And so I'll type in self-publishing or KDP, or even go into scaling or creating a course, stuff like that. I'll type that and it'll bring up the posts, and not just posting your own story, but also commenting on other people's questions and other people's, requests for content or recommendations, anything like that, going in and answering. That has really, I've seen a significant boost when I go and do that with, like, especially with KDP. I'll go in and I'll share the exact process that I teach. People, most people are not taking that and applying it. What it's doing is it's showing them that I have some credibility. I know what I'm talking about. And then they go and they message me. And so when I do that in a group that's that size, a lot of times within a day, within that first 24 hours of posting that comment, I'll get 20, 30 people messaging me privately in Facebook saying, hey, I saw your comment. Can you tell me more? Can you teach me? And then I can funnel them over to either getting on a call with them, or, hey, I have a live class coming up that, here's how you would join, or whatever. So not just sharing your stories. I think that's amazing and a really great thing, but also going in, do a search for specific topics, or just browse through and comment, get interactive with the other people in there. That'll catch the attention of the admins as well. And I put this in the comments, but I really like that you went to the admin and you asked to be requested to be a friend before you sent your message. I think that's a really great idea. Sorry, my phone's going off my ear. But I think that's a great, another way to connect with them. That's going to get their attention too, not just a message, but then they might be like, oh, wait, they just sent me a message. I'm going to go look and see who they are. Anyway, so did you want me to stop?
Yeah, Cassandra was asking, we can probably stop sharing. Cassandra was asking, I haven't looked at how to use Answer the Public. Did you just type sublimation into the search? Yes. What you see in the middle of the screen usually is your keyword that you type. And that's all I typed. And then you have all these questions about how to do sublimation, which sublimation X printer or product to use, all that stuff.
So it's just a keyword, not a prompt like you would with
ChatGPT. It's a keyword. Yes, and ChatGPT, you use a prompt. But even you can use ChatGPT to ask questions. Like if you are a writer, the more context you give, the better answers you get. So you have to let the tool know, I'm a writer, or I want you to write it from the perspective of a marketer or a salesperson or a whatever, right? Whatever the person who is writing it is, like whatever the position of that person, the role of that person is, tell the tool you're writing as a marketer, you're writing as a author, as whoever, and then give your prompt and you get better results, because it's an AI tool. It has all of this data that has access to, but the tool doesn't quite know what you want. So the more information you get, the better responses you get. And I have used the tool to come up with messages to put on message cards with the jewelry we sell. So that's one way to use ChatGPT for physical products. I have asked for ideas. For instance, I was selling jewelry pieces for moms, but like jewelry for moms is way too broad and it's very difficult to rank for that keyword. So then I asked for ideas. What like sub niches of mom could I go after? And the tool gave me some ideas, and then I researched them on Etsy and Amazon and discovered more. So you can use these tools and apply them to anything. Hopefully this benefits. But okay, so you use the tool, right? You identify what people are searching for. You come up with a solution, whether that's an ebook or you come up with a service to provide and help people. The most important thing is to know what people want and to provide that. It's way harder to sell something if you don't know what people want, and if you're not providing something that helps people. In terms of just a principle in marketing or selling, we know that people like to avoid paying more than they care to pay for something that would lead to pleasure. So if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to show you 5 ways to save $100 this month, to make $100 this month, there are people who might be interested. But if I say, in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you 3 things you can do to save $100, you're going to lose $100 unless you do these 3 things. I'm going to get a lot more people to say yes to my offer if my solution is going to keep them from losing $100 in the next 30 days. So if you focus on the fear of losing and you provide a solution for those things, you tend to have a better conversion. So that's just one principle to keep in mind. Now, the one approach that works great no matter what you do is to remove the risk for the person. I posted in the group something I came up with last night after our call, and that was to do an Ask Anything consult, posted it on social media and on LinkedIn. And I said, hey, you can ask me anything. I might have had more people respond had I been more specific. I don't know. I got at least one person who's going to actually buy me lunch at the conference. We're going to meet at a conference next month, and she's going to buy me lunch. So I'm like, okay, that works for me. My risk reversal approach was to say, if this is a waste of time, if we talk for 15 to 30 minutes and I'm not helping you in any way, I'm going to pay you $25. And I figured in 30 minutes, I'll probably come up with something useful to say. So the person acknowledges that it wasn't a waste of time. Most of us can say something useful in 30 minutes. But I wanted to use it as an example to show you, if you take the risk off of people, it's going to make it so much easier for people to say yes. A while back, a few years back, people were selling courses and they didn't have a 30-day money back guarantee because the course creators were afraid that the students are just buying the courses and then just asking for the money back, and then they won't make any money. But someone, was smart enough to say, well, I'm going to test it. I'm going to see how many people are going to refund if we give students 30-day money back guarantee. And it was impressive how much, the conversion rate went through the roof. And now it's normal. Everybody does it. You have 30 days or 60 days. It's very rare to find a course creator not to offer 30-day or 60-day money back guarantee, because the initial few people who came up with the idea, because they removed the risk, they got so many more people to say yes to, and they were able to charge a lot more because now people weren't afraid to pay $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 because they had 30 days to make a final decision. So how can you remove the risk? When you go through the process of coming with something that's useful, answer a question or solve a problem people have, but then you have to get people to say yes to you, right? So if you don't have any copywriting experience or selling experience, you can go to ChatGPT and say, I want to sell this product that solves this problem. How can I frame it? How can I present it to potential buyers? And then ChatGPT is going to come up with some solutions. But in general, if you can think of if you can be very specific, right, and think of, what can I help people? What can I show people to do without something that they dislike, right? So if I were to say, I used this example yesterday, if in 5 days I show you how to build your own brand on Amazon without having to worry about price wars, would you take me on that? And without paying me anything. Let's say I'm doing a free challenge. How many people who are selling on Amazon do you think will take me on that? I'm telling them what they can achieve. I'm telling them they can achieve it without something they totally dislike, which is price wars for arbitrage sellers. And then I'm telling them how long it will take to get access to this framework or model. 5 days. In 5 days, I'll show you the steps. You can take the model and you can do whatever you want with it. Do you think people are going to take me on that? Now, what if I were to say, I want to teach you about print on demand? Join me. Unless someone really knows about print on demand, they probably don't care. Like, why would I want to learn about print on demand? I'm way too busy with my Amazon business already, or I'm way too busy with whatever they're busy with, right? So whenever you make an offer, if you're specific, it's going to help, okay? And I'll talk about one more principle, and then Jenny, I'll let you jump in. The first thing you sell has to be very specific, and it has to solve a problem that's very clear. Let's think about this example just came to mind, so I'll use it. Let's assume I'm teaching people who have dogs about dog training. So I want to sell a course on dog training. If I'm just saying, hey, sell you a course on dog training, most people are probably not going to buy it.
Right.
But what if I attack, or I deal with a like really serious problem for dog owners? How to get your dog to stop chewing your furniture in 3 days or less.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, right, I attract the people who have that problem. And guess what? After they solve that problem, they probably have other things they want to do. Like they
Mm-hmm.
want to teach the dog some other things. But it's a pain. Like no one who has a little dog wants to have their furniture being chewed on. It's a big problem for dog owners. So when we go specific, it allows us to sell something for a lot lower than a big course that talks about everything you need to know about dog training, right? So think about how can you make your offer specific, and how can you, and then you can test different ideas. You do not have to come up with like your offer, this amazing offer, the first time you come up with. That's why you can test ideas on social media. So today, maybe you present it from one angle. Let's take the building your brand on Amazon for arbitrage sellers. So their problem is price wars. They don't have control of the prices. Other people can just jump on the listing. They cannot. They don't have stability sometimes because of it, right? So I can take the same offer, but look at it from a different angle. So you can do that, come up with like 5 or 10 headlines or offers, the same idea, but look at it from different angles and see which one resonates with people. And then just build your course or ebook off of that. The way people who have money do it, they just write 5 ads, and then they just see which ad gets the most clicks and most interaction, and you can pay $5 to $10 for it. Very simple. And then you just write a headline: how to achieve this without this in this much time, or right. It's, you can look at it from different angles. So you often we don't come up with the best offer or the best approach the first time around. So we test ideas, and that's okay.
Yep.
I did a test for a client where we came up with 5 headlines. So this was a client who was already selling courses. We came up with 5 headlines, and the one I liked the least actually got it was like 35% more clicks, more conversion. And I'm talking about people who ended up buying the course, not just they clicked on the link. It was that one headline that I did not think would do well, ended up actually getting a lot more people to buy because it connected to people differently. It was not, again, I've been, I had been in that world for a while, and I still was wrong about which headline is going to do well. So it's okay to test. It's very important if you plan on doing a content-based business. It's very important to understand, or any business. It's very important to understand that experimentation is necessary. You have to test, and be okay with failing, because it's not a failure. It's just a lesson that takes you closer to your end goal. So
It's a pivot point. Very
so
good.
I think I'm done for now.
We'll see. That was good. Good stuff. I wanted to share a little bit. Also, this is kind of content based, but I wanted to share my story actually with 10 books in 10 days, and how that model, I've applied it to other things over the years. But that's probably the best example that I think a lot of you guys could relate to. But what happened was when I was working in the private label world with Ryan, I came across the Create Space, is what KDP used to be, Kindle Direct Publishing, and recognized that there was an opportunity to create an easier private label by bundling with a book. And that's what Create Space did. It was print on demand, paperback books. Okay. so I kind of went down that road a little bit, started talking about it, started working with people who were applying those strategies. But what I realized was that really, well, let me just back up. A year or two later, CreateSpace went underneath the KDP umbrella. KDP used to just be ebooks for the Kindle, but then they put CreateSpace underneath there. So now with KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, you can do paperback, ebooks, and hardcover. And what I realized as I was digging into this and publishing books was how powerful KDP was, and how there are a lot of people with problems. Now, let me back up. Delia talked about some really good principles, and one of them was, identifying who your people are. That's really important. Your people, if you find them first and you already kind of have an idea of what your assets are, they're going to tell you exactly what they need. Choose one, right? You choose one problem to address. And again, then you test your ideas. So that's kind of what I was doing. I had an audience of Amazon sellers, mostly are e-commerce sellers. And where I saw a pain point was people were frustrated or wanted to find ways that they could generate income that would become automated. So it wasn't something they had to continue pouring into. They were a little frustrated with having to go buy inventory and find new inventory all the time. And they also wanted, I think, a creative outlet. And I found KDP solved a lot of those problems. And so we started 10 books in 10 days. I brought my daughter in, and here's how we did it. We came up with, Hallie and I were just talking, and I'm like, could we teach this in 10 days? And if we were going to do that, because I knew that when I would talk to people about KDP, they would be like, oh, whoa, I can't write a book. Okay. Delia just showed how you could, now ChatGPT wasn't around back then, but she just showed you how you can write a book. If you're not a writer, just knock that one out, because you don't have to be a writer anymore. But even back then, this was like, I don't know, 6 years ago, when we were starting the 10 books in 10 days, I got that I'm not a writer. And so how can we make it so that people can get over that hump of not letting that hold them back? I know, what could we do 10 books in 10 days? What would that look like? And so we broke down just an outline of, okay, day 1, we would do this. Day 2, we would do this, and the process, so that by the end of 10 days, you would have 10 books published. And it was all around low content books. And this was before low content books were even really a big thing. So what we did was we made that outline. We knew there was a problem. I had an audience. I knew what their problem was. This was a solution. Focus on the solution. We made an outline, and then I pre-sold it. I thought we'd get 50 people signed up. Okay. We had 150 people signed up right out of the gate for the first class, and more people were excited about it. We got incredible feedback. And so we did it again the next month. We got another 150 people signed up, and we did it again the next month, and we had another 150 people signed up. The way that it was formatted was one in a way that helped inspire people to take action. There was accountability in the group. There was homework, all of those things. But I want to back up. We found we had an audience. We decided on one problem. We outlined the course. We pre-sold the course. All we had done was the outline when I offered it out to my audience. Okay. We knew we could put the meat on the bones. So it wasn't like, we were faking it or anything. It was just, we didn't put all the work in until we tested the idea. I thought 50 people would be a success. And my big mistake was that I offered her 50%. I should have offered her, a fixed number. No, I'm just kidding. She made a lot of money, and I ruined her for getting any kind of job at 15. So anyway, we outlined, pre-sold, okay, and then we delivered the course, and we went live. We did over the shoulder. We did some slides to talk about validation and stuff, but a lot of it was over the shoulder. And we got great feedback, but we also learned where the learning gaps were. Okay. And so then the next time we applied what we learned from the first time we did the class, did it live again. And we did it about 3 or 4 times before we felt like we really had it dialed in. And one of the things that came up as a problem was that when we were going live to do over the shoulder, showing how to fill in that. Basically in KDP, you're creating a listing. So you got to put your title, the description, all of those things, create your cover. when we were doing it live, there was so much interaction with people that it was hard to watch and do at the same time. So what we did was we created just instructional videos for specific things, like how to create a cover, and then there was no interruption of trying to answer questions in the middle of it. So that was something we learned. It was a learning gap, and so by the 4th or 5th time that we did it, we had some live sessions and some instructional videos, and we had all of the things scheduled ahead of time to be posted each day. So we ended up going live like 3 times, I think, during the 10 days by the time we had it dialed in. And then we were in the group and we were paying attention. So if people were stuck on keywords, we would go live and just do a unannounced live, and talk about keywords. If people were stuck in another place, like with cover design or something like that, like trying to navigate Canva or I don't know, we would go live and we would just, add that as kind of a bonus thing in there to keep people on task and moving forward. And guys, that 10 books in 10 days class turned into a 6-figure income for me. Okay. It was a 6-figure revenue stream because I saw a need with my audience. I knew my audience. I saw one problem to solve. And what's happened, then we pre-sold it. We filled in the learning gaps and optimized it. Okay. And in doing that, we actually found more gaps in the market. So this class was just basic KDP. Well, guess what? There's so much more you can do with KDP. It's not even funny. I mean, you can take it and there's some really cool strategies for marketing and being able to harness Amazon's traffic by what you put in those first few pages. You can be very strategic to get people off of Amazon and onto a mailing list. You can partner with other people who have businesses and help them, like Delia, you were saying, with the admin for this group. I love what a mutual friend of ours is doing. He's going to influencers who have podcasts, taking their top 30, 45 podcasts, getting them transcribed, and having somebody else who has a complementary business, okay, to that sponsor a chapter, which pays for the whole book and some. Okay, influencers, they can't say no to that. That's a totally risk-free, and it's risk-free on both ends if you can get a sponsor for it because it's all paid for, and you can have a VA do all the work. So there's paying attention to what your assets are, going and finding the audience, figuring out, okay, these are my people. These are the people I'm going to serve. Decide how you're going to serve them. And it might even be with a physical product. A book is kind of a physical, even though it's print on demand, but it could be, it doesn't have to just be information. There could be some physical product that you partner with, or, just solve a problem, find one problem to solve. From there, new opportunities will present themselves. So now I have 5 ways, and there's more than that, but 5 ways that you can use KDP to generate income. Some of them are very significant. And now, as people got onto the journal, okay, actually, I want to go back to that quote. I forget what it was exactly, but where you're in, what do you remember? Do you have it up? I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was about being in the right stream. Doesn't matter how fast you're rowing. And I was thinking about that, and back to my college days when we would go to the river and we would float down. We would all be on the same river. Some people are floating faster than other people, depending on where we were in the stream. So that's a strategy thing. That's listening to your audience. Are you going to solve one problem, or are you trying to solve all the problems, which is rowing really fast and not really getting anywhere? Or are you going to let the stream just pull you? But you can be, I guess I was just thinking about, it's not necessarily just the right stream. It's also where you are in the stream. And that actually might just be a little tweak to what you're already doing. So anyway, start with an audience and your assets, pick a problem, focus on that one problem, knowing that that's going to turn into more opportunities. And then as far as a course goes, outline a course, pre-sell it, and then you build it and optimize it as you deliver it. And I've found that people are very receptive to that. They like the authenticity of something live instead of really polished. And I can tell you stories of people I know who went out and spent all this money to get a course or a program put together without, and they thought they were meeting a need, and maybe they were, but nobody really signed up for it. If you do this, we did our 10 books in 10 days outline, it took a little bit of time to get the sales page up, and do that. But it really, I don't know, a couple hours, or you can
Well,
outsource it.
so I started doing things the easy way, and I don't even do sales pages anymore. I do Google Docs.
Yep.
I just kind of create a sales page in Google Docs because I want people to see you don't have to be fancy and have
Yes.
sales pages and these tools that cost money. And if you go to stripe.com, you can set up a free account. They let you create a product link that you give people, and then they pay you using a credit card. Stripe takes care of the processing, so you don't have to worry about losing, card data or being hacked. Stripe has really secure systems. Google Document. I know someone who has done 6-7 figures on deals by just doing a Google Document. He said, if you want it, send this much to this PayPal, and tomorrow we'll send you the access, the information or the course. That's
Yeah.
it.
And you can deliver the course right in Facebook using Zoom, free for Zoom, free for Facebook, if you can get Zoom to work with Facebook, which I apparently have problems with. But yeah, the only thing I don't know about that is, can you collect email addresses that way?
Yeah, you can still do it. You can create a free form on Google where people input their information, and then it takes them to the payment. But when someone pays you, they have to put an email to get the invoice. So you can still collect emails, and you can email people.
Follow up.
There are all kinds of ways to do it. It's we don't have to complicate it. The point is, we overcomplicate things, and we prep and we think about it and we plan and we build, but we never actually try to sell. You have to validate your idea. Whatever your idea is, try to validate it by trying to sell, or at least to see if people are interested. Even if you don't sell initially, right? Try to offer it for free. If if I write an ebook, if I offer a service, I'm going to clean your windows. I'm going to clean 2 windows for free. This is actually how a carpet cleaner has built his business. I'm going to clean 200 square feet of carpet for free. And people are not going to just get half of their carpet done. They're like, well, clean the whole thing. How much does it cost me to clean the whole thing? And then he would charge them for the rest. But he actually had people, very few, only call him to do that one room. And he obviously lost money on it. But 90% of the time, 90% of the time, he had people say, well, if you're here, you might as well do all the carpet in the whole house. So you can do a service for free. You can offer an ebook for free and start collecting emails through the ebook, right? There's so many things we can do that are not tech focused, right? Very simple. So I don't want you to avoid taking action because you're thinking, oh, I have to do all these things. No, you can just use Gmail. Gmail is free. You can host right, your sales page in a Google document, and that's it. And we'll actually do that with the group offer we want to make. We'll share more about it tomorrow. But again, just to remind you, what if you could just focus for 5 hours a week, because that's a requirement we have for whoever's signing up, and we would need at least 4 to 5 people to make this work. If we don't get 4 to 5 people, we're not going to do it, and it's okay, right? But if we get 5 people to say yes to it, then each person's going to take 5 hours of their time. They're going to do a task or focus on one thing that they're better, like they tend to be good at. So imagine if you could just do that, focus on what you're good at, and then have the other people work and focus on the things you're not good at, and then you accomplish something together. You build something that's going to pay. Now, the other benefit is, right, if you have 5 people to work for 5 hours, that's 25 hours per week. Plus, let's say we're going to pay some VAs, and we'll probably have some very time-consuming tasks. We'll outsource those to a VA. Let's say that's an extra 10 hours per week. Where would you be if you had something that 35 hours were devoted to per week for 60 days, where do you think that
Yep.
business would be? Even if it's very, very slowly starting to pay off, after 60
Mhm.
days, you'll be so much further. I mean, the business or the income stream is going to do so much better than if you only have 5 hours a day. It will
Mhm.
take you 5 to 6 times longer,
Right.
so closer to a year to accomplish the same thing. Not to mention, if you've heard this analogy, a draft horse can pull, what was it, 8,000 pounds,
Yep.
I think, by itself. Now, if you put two draft horses together, how many pounds do you think two draft horses can pull together if one can pull 7,000 pounds? Most people think 14,
14. Yep.
15-ish thousand pounds. No, it's 3 times more. It's closer to like 30,000. It's more than 3 times. It's more than 3 times, and it was closer to like 30,000. I mean, my numbers might be a little off because it's been a while since I read that illustration, but
But it's more
that's
than
true, right? If you get a group of people together, you can accomplish more. Now,
Mhm.
I'm not saying do this with us. I'm not saying, because you can find a group of friends who are as devoted as you are to an income goal. You can do it together. Just make sure you have very clear expectations outlined. You can find people in the groups you're part of. You do not have to do this. I'm just giving you an idea. What if you partner with people and you found a way to work less and actually still see results? That's what I'm trying to do, or that's what we're trying to do. That's why we came up with this, like,
Mhm.
um, group idea. Let's build an income stream together,
Mhm.
because we wanted to eliminate some of the risk. We want to eliminate some of the um, fear and lack of focus that comes from uh, working on things by
Right.
yourself. We want to maximize the
Yep.
potential we can all make. And we'll talk more about the specifics because you probably have tons of ideas. But whatever you do, can you think the whole point of this exercise is, can you come up with a way to make it work without you working more, without you um, uh,
Yep.
putting more money into it? Like, what if, right? That's the question. What if? How could I accomplish in 1 month or in 3 months what other people accomplish in 3 years?
Yeah.
How could I accomplish in 3 months what takes people a year to 3 years to accomplish? When we start asking these questions, we start to actually find solutions. If we ask the right questions, we find solutions to our questions. We find answers. So that's also the purpose of this example, of this exercise. Start asking different questions. Can I make money without working? That's the question I started asking this year, more and more. Like, how can I make money without working at all on that income stream? It, it might take me a little while to find good answers. And
Mhm.
some of the tests I've done didn't pay off. Some did, but some didn't. I'm not pretending that this is so easy and you won't have to work at all. But if it's something fun, it's okay. I'm excited about doing the work I'm doing. And I want you guys to be, if we're stressed about the money we need to make, and that's all we focus on, it's going to be hard to find the right thing for us.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of different ways to approach it, right? We're different personalities, we handle stress differently, but it's important to place ourselves in the right stream, in the right project, so that we make the money we want. And I want to challenge you to ask the right questions. Now, today we gave you an like a model that you can follow. Come up with an idea. We talked about that on Monday. Take that idea, check what people are asking, what type of questions people have about that topic online, right? We gave you some tools. You can use an AI tool. ChatGPT is free. It doesn't cost anything. Answer the Public free. It doesn't cost much. So use these free tools. come up with something and then test it, right? Give it away for free, share it with people and see what they say. Yeah, that means you're not going to make money in the first 30 days. But what if you find someone who has your audience? Let's say the sublimation example. What if one of the admins of all these, there are actually tons of sublimation groups. What if one of the admins says, that's a great idea, let's do this together. You do all the work, and when the book is published, that admin is going to put the link in their group, because guess what? They want, if their name is on the book, they want other people to know. And
Yeah.
that's how I get all that influx of traffic. And that influx of traffic gets that ball rolling, so that I get more traffic from Amazon or whatever platform we're selling on, right? Just some ideas to get you thinking about it. But all these ideas are useless if you don't do anything with them. So
yeah, that's a big idea right there.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing before we go, and that is, this whole thing about offering something for free or super low cost, even $1, just to have people put some sort of value to it. One thing, like my daughter, she's got her certification as a holistic health coach. She just did a 7-day challenge for hydration and adrenal support. And she had some people come in, but she also let more people in for free that she knew, so that she could not just so that they would leave testimonials, but she wanted more opportunity for testimonials. So I've had people say, should I get certified as this or take, and they didn't need the certification. They wanted it for credibility. And I just wanted to say that testimonials are gold. That's going to give you way more credibility than any sort of, it depends on what. Okay, I don't want to say, like, you might need certification for certain things legally, but if you can get testimonials of how you have helped people overcome that one problem that you're solving, then that is going to launch you way faster. So maybe you're just taking, a month where you're giving this away for free in exchange for some testimonials. Those testimonials will make the next time you offer it you'll cut a lot of time off of your launch schedule, because you have social proof. And so there is a trade-off there that's more valuable than money. Honestly, it will pay off later by really making an effort to get those testimonials off the ground at the forefront of launching something. And so that can be, think of that. I'm not just giving it away for free. I'm testing it. And then if it's successful, I'm asking for testimonials, which will help me grow even faster in the long run and bigger. Just wanted to address that. Guys, we've covered a lot of content this week. Tomorrow's day 5. We will again announce the time. It'll probably be around this time, I'm thinking, but I'll try to announce that. We'll get that resolved tonight and post in there so you guys can plan your Friday evening appropriately. But again, also it's available for replays in the group here. But again, also too, would love to hear, what is your aha moment? Has there been something even in tonight's challenge that has been just got you thinking a little bit differently, encouraged you, let the light bulb come on a little bit brighter, something that you're like, oh, now I can take action. That kind of feedback is very helpful for us. And hopefully it is encouraging to you too, to put a name or a voice to the things that have stood out to you. We tend to put more value on that and take action on those things. So share. And if you haven't done your income goal and shared that and been brave to do that, there's still time to post that in here. Anytime you can do that. Don't be, maybe you just need a couple $1,000s a month, but maybe your goal really, like, don't hold back. Whatever, is it 500,000, 100,000, whatever, or even if it's just 20,000, it doesn't matter. Your goal is for you. So it's really just naming it and claiming it, I suppose. Thanks, Delia. That was good.
Okay. Talk to you tomorrow, everyone.
Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.